Wait a minute, I hear something.
Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Blueberry News! Dr. Movie! Dr. Movie! Yeah!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's that time again. Welcome back to Dr. Movie. I said, welcome to my show. I think that's a Def Leppard song. It starts off that way. They sound better than that. That's my morning voice. So, yeah, you're in for a good time, folks. Hey, we got another good one for you here. We are talking about the 1981 action thriller. We got some Chuck Norris in the house. We're doing An Eye for an Eye. Yeah. Early Chuck Norris stuff. Well, you say early in his solo career. I mean, yeah, he was in the Bruce Lee stuff in the early 70s. But this is when he's starting to break out. You had Good Guys Wear Black, which I might cover on here eventually. This is the follow-up, I think. It's right there close. And, yeah, finally, some Chuck Norris up in here, because, everybody likes some Chuck. Let's see, let's try to read a little synopsis here. It is also a action/thriller from 1981. That sweet spot that I always like to talk about. Synopsis says, Sean Kane is a San Francisco cop whose partner is murdered by an Oriental drug ring. When his superiors take him off the case, Kane quits his job and sets out to exact revenge. Yeah. So not an uncommon story. I mean, it's almost the same thing as Samurai Cop. Not that this is no Samurai Cop, I can tell you that. It's a 5.5 out of 10. I don't know, yeah, maybe so, something like that. I'm not even sure who directed it. Directed by Steve Carver. What did Steve Carver do? Lone Wolf McQuade, so another Chuck Norris film. He did The Arena from 74, Big Bad Mama. So obviously he did some exploitation flicks. And you know what? I can tell. You can kind of feel that in this movie because it's got a guttural nastiness to it, right? So we got a 5.5 out of 10. I think I already said that. Why do we watch it? Because it's gutsy, wild, and brooding. I don't know. It's a cop show. Gutsy, maybe. Wild? For an 80s flick, it's not really that wild. Scenes are handled well, and the tone isn't jostled around like in plenty of other 80 actioners. You know what? I kind of agree with that. They do try to give it a dose of reality for the most part, except for the fact that even Chuck gets shot. So there you go. So if it was Rambo, well, I guess Rambo got shot too by a missile. And it went through his stomach, remember? And he cauterized it, and he walks around with a big hole through him the rest of the movie. Yeah. This one is one of those 70s/80s cop drama action flicks with a far-fetched storyline, and I enjoyed it very much. I like that take on it. It says, worth viewing if you're in the mood for a fast-paced film with more emphasis on action than plot. I don't know. I think it does what it's supposed to do. It's kind of a mystery movie in a way because there's a drug lord involved in all this, and you're not very suspected of who that is, and so you're trying to figure out who that person could be. Could even be some people on the task force that's involved. You know how that works. People get paid off, right? Kind of like we're seeing now with some of this government stuff, like the whole Katie Hobbs thing, where the GOP was trying to pay her off to not run. Yeah, how crazy is that? So these crazy made up things we see in these movies, yeah, they happen. there's usually a dose of reality in all this stuff. So don't ever sell yourself short, folks, because this stuff happens. Let's talk about this cast. Well, we got Mr. Chuck, right? Mr. Chuck Steak in here. And he's roundhousing his way through the movie. We got Richard Roundtree, speaking of round. Richard Roundtree, you know, Shaft. Just talk about Shaft. Yeah, he's one bad mother. He plays the boss of Captain Stevens, I believe. So he's Chuck Norris's boss. We got Christopher Lee in here, right? We've got Professor Tanaka. I ain't even got to say anything about Christopher Lee. We all know who Christopher Lee is. Just pick a movie, right? Professor Tanaka. You know who this guy is from Man with a Golden Gun. He's the big tough guy, right? The Odd Job, right? The guy with he throws the hat and it cuts people's heads off, things like that, right? So great bad guy, always has been. We got Mako in this. Mako, the guy from Conan the Barbarian, right? The little wizard guy. Love that guy. He plays James Chan. Yeah. Got Maggie Cooper. Ends up kind of being the love interest of the movie. She's just an innocent bystander that's involved with everything. And, you know, I think she was in, like, I don't know, Space Camp or something like that. Nothing major. A lot of TV shows. We got Matt Clark in this. Matt Clark was in Friday the 13th Part 7 for all you horror fans, but he will forever be known as the guy that tries to hunt down and stop Bill Bixby in The Incredible Hulk. Yeah, he's the guy that chases him around everywhere looking for clues. We've got Terry Kaiser in this. That's right. Weekend at Bernie's. It's Bernie himself. I'm sorry, I got those confused. He was in Friday the 13th Part 7. Terry Kaiser was. Matt Clark was in some other stuff, but like I said, he hunted down the Incredible Hulk. But Terry Kaiser, man, Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's 1, 2, Mannequin 2. You know, he kind of had a run there for a while. We got Stuart Pankin in this. Stuart Pankin popped up in Hollywood Nights not too long ago that I talked about. He was on Not Necessarily the News, which was a great HBO 80s TV show that came on making fun of the news. That's pretty much your cast, except for Rosalind Shell. She plays Linda. She is the wife of Terry Kaiser's character, Dave. Now, Dave and Chuck Norris's character, Sean, are work partners, and they're on this big drug ring operation trying to, figure it out. And at the beginning of the movie, they get set up. And they go into an alleyway, and Dave experiences a terrible death. I mean, he gets shot a couple of times, and then a car smashes him into another car and catches him on fire, and he's burning alive. It's bad. It's really bad. And Chuck Norris gets shot, but he's still able to fight. Chases a guy upstairs. Roundhouse kicks him out a window, and then he falls on a car. The rest of the police force shows up. They start giving Chuck Norris a hard time because we've spent years getting the information we got, and you just kind of blew it all with this one incident. And he's like, look, we were set up. So he's like, how am I supposed to, defend you from the uppers with all this stuff because of what happened? And Chuck Norris says, I'll save you the trouble. And he hands in his gun and his badge. And then it's on. Well, he starts talking to Linda, who was married to Dave. Linda works in TV. She's an investigator on TV. She starts poking around, and she figures out something. And she calls Chuck and says, hey, I need to meet you because I got some information you're going to need, but I know they're chasing me, right? So she has this long chase scene with Professor Tanaka chasing her around. And, you know, it goes on for quite a while, but it's pretty good. She ends up getting away. She gets back to her apartment, and she's trying to call Chuck again. I've got this information. I need somewhere safe to get to. Well, the bad guys show up and end up killing her, but she's got a key to a locker that's in the subway, I guess. And she doesn't know what to do with the key, but after she's dead, Chuck shows up, cops show up, and they're looking for clues, can't find anything. And then a young lady comes in and goes, look, I was her best friend. I have a lot of stuff over here. I stayed over here quite a bit. I just want to get my stuff. So she goes to get her stuff together and packs it up. And lo and behold, we figure out later on in the movie that Lucy knew she was going to die, and she knew that this girl would come and get her stuff, so she planted the key in with her stuff. And it leads to a locker that's got a cassette in it that reveals who the drug lord, the ringleader, is in the movie. And but this girl also works at the TV studio where Linda worked, and their boss is Christopher Lee. And so he's kind of running the TV station. And of course Chuck Norris gets with her, and they go in there and they start watching all the videos, and he starts putting together, he starts noticing people that, especially one guy that's in one of the videos, was the guy that drew him and Dave into the alleyway for the death of Dave. So a lot of seedy stuff going on here. I like this one. Chuck driving around in a very nice Firebird, members only jackets, driving gloves. I mean, it's everything you want in a 1981 cop movie. And I don't know, I'm not going to reveal the end because, you know, there's still plenty to talk about here, right? You kind of get led to where you can't decide. There is a ship that's docked that he gets information on, and he goes and fights a bunch of people on the ship that's carrying firecrackers that's loaded full of heroin. So that's how the stuff is coming to the country. And he starts putting the pieces together. Then Chuck kicks everybody's butt. Him and Mako. Mako is the father of Linda, and he's wanting revenge as well. So they team up and kick a whole bunch of butt, right? And that's pretty much this movie. I tell you, it's pretty solid. I look back at Chuck in this time period. Good guys wear black. His acting is pretty cardboardish. This one, it works. He's not as cardboardish. Still not a great actor at this point, but better, right? But I think this has got plenty of action in it. It's got plenty of stuff. It feels like an episode of a cop drama on TV back in this time. It could have been Barnaby Jones. It could have been, you know, any of these other shows. And it felt like that, except you got, you know, more devastating, you know, gun wounds and nudity. So there you go. That's kind of my thoughts on Eye for an Eye. I say check it out. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's just a good, solid, middle-of-the-road film. And I don't know. Give it a shot. Like I said, it's on Tubi. And let me know what you think about this one. Check it out. And hope you enjoyed. All right, folks. That's it for this one. We will check you later.